Uh-oh. No, it's just time for an oil change. Well, actually, it's not really that close to time, but it's been long enough since I've put that royal purple in there, and in between those times it hadn't been really running the best. Now I got it running pretty clean, even though it gets terrible gas mileage now that I've done this. I'm gonna put some oil in, get a new filter. And this thing takes 6 quarts. It's a 6-quart pan. So the oil is actually not dirty. It's actually the cleanest I've ever seen it. That color there is just a little bit of, ash, but from, normal use, but part of that is it's royal purple, so it's got a darker color. So, it's probably doesn't need to be changed, but I'm going to do it anyways because I'm going to be running this thing in the winter time because when things start freezing and whatnot, since I have spare wheels, this is going to be my winter rig. So if I crash into anything, it will probably just end up breaking the concrete and not the truck. And this guy I'll drive every now and then. Oh, isn't that nice? Some rock chip and no rust. Great. I'll probably drive this thing now, but this thing I want to keep in top shape for the winter. I got my PCV hooked up, which is part of the HVAC hookup. So it's a little slow changing it back to vent. But everything's hooked up. Just trying to make sure I don't have any leaks and whatnot. I smell like antifreeze somewhere and I don't know where it's coming from. Yeah, a little bit of a sweet. I think I know where it's at. Well, that's not really leaking. It's just a little wet from oil because the gasket is kind of shitty. It's probably just this. I don't know. Hope it's not my heater core. I don't really care. I'm gonna replace it anyway, so I have a plan. I'm planning to replace that. So anyways, let's go get an oil pan and a thing and drop the oil. Let's get a good look under here again. Still got my spring boosters in there, which still working out pretty good. Still got a nice straight steering wheel. Axles and everything are nice, but I can actually tell that they need to be down a little bit more because they should be completely flat, but these look like they're pushed in a little bit more. But for right now I've got it to where the steering wheel's straight for the most part. Oh yeah, we got some good pressure there. It used to be this thing was not really good at holding pressure, and I put the intake on and got new hoses and did all this extra stuff to her, and she's been pretty good. Well, our transmission was running really cool. We got our bumper held on with 2 bolts. So I need to go. I'll just crawl under it some more and be able to undo it. I like having that fan shroud out of the way. And it gets up to a nice operating temperature, but doesn't get too cold if I leave the fan shroud off. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop that bolt. We'll see how our oil looks. We got our pan is right there, and I got a new filter. This truck I use the Ford FL1A. I use that for a reason because the model number is easy to memorize. Not because it's a Ford filter, but just because I know, FL1A. In fact, this filter is the same for my Explorer, which was the 3-liter V6, and same for the 5-liter Mustang. Boy, did I ever make a mess. Don't tell Al Gore. Anyways. I don't know. I would have been happy just changing it, which is what we're doing now. Sure, it'll be a happy running engine. So I get to pour that in my tub of despair. We have some oil, and then we're going to take this thing. It's a little scary in there, but just a little milky. The engine's pretty worn, so probably could use some head and cylinder gaskets. The whole engine needs a refresh, so because it's just old. 31, probably going 32 years old. So anyways, I'm gonna get my new funnel. I got one of these. It was like $5. It came with it has a longer hose to go in here, but the thing I like about it is it's a twist on, twist off. Let's see if we can fill it up without making a mess. Look at that. And then you open that motherfucker up. It's kind of slow, but this is I mainly bought this for doing like manual transmissions and stuff because it has a long hose on it. And we like to control the flow sometimes. Kind of want to put one of those little inline pump things, the little ones with the rubber squeegee pump diaphragm thing. They put on a drill and make a little pump thing so we can do maintenance like this. And then I can just shut the motherfucker off like that. Yeah, I was low on oil. It's supposed to have 6 quarts and it was probably 2 quarts low, I think. It's gonna take a while for my 3M smell to go away. Okay, let's see. Carburetor boil over. Let's see. Maybe. That exhaust smells good. Okay, so we did a little change at 161,000 rather. 161,996. It's gonna roll over to 62,000 here in a sec. Shut it up. Check our oil here. I found went through all the wires here. Took them all. I just left the alternator charge wire hooked up to the battery or right here. Put 2 washers in there so we have a nice solid connection. These 2 here, one is for my radio and the other is to something in the cab. And I joined those 2 together, and then you have this, which is going to my air compressor. This wiring has got to be redone. And I went to these ground wires here and I took them off and sanded them down really good. And I really haven't seen a whole lot of light flicker. I actually wanted to pull that dipstick out here and check the oil. That ran for a little bit. But yeah, I just went to my lead's house, and the whole time at night I was not annoyed by flickering lights, and they weren't flickering. It was nice. Yeah. Okay, let's see where we're at oil wise. Oh no. Wiping it on my shirt. Oh yeah, we're nice and full now. She's gonna stay nice and lubricated. Okay. Let's go for a ride. I love the smell of fresh oil. It has that weird smell to it that I actually am being sarcastic. I don't really care for it too much. We have the door that shuts properly, and then that side shuts properly. Little issues that are just not, real mechanical, but things that are kind of annoying is, this thing is this needs to be rebuilt. I don't know if that's normal or not. Back window rattles because it's a piece of crap, so I'm gonna replace that. The radio is connected directly to the battery, and even so, every now and then it'll just randomly shut off and then come back on. And I've had this happen to the radio that was in here before this one, and it was old crappy Clarion, so I know we got some wiring to redo and whatnot. But there's things that are kind of annoying. Let's see. The fan only works on high now all of a sudden. So either the switch or the blower motor resistor is bad. I think I'm just going to replace two and not chase around a bunch of issues. I know it's one of the two, but I think I'm going to replace both items just so that we have new switches. But anyways, let's go for a drive. I rotated my mufflers so that they do not bang against each other and make the sound of rod knock. Look at that back window. It's absolutely fucking annoying. We got good oil pressure. Even if it's 2 quarts oil low, it's still, we get really good oil pressure, so it tells me that the bearings and stuff are good, and the motor hasn't seized up, so I shouldn't say that. So our oil pump is working just fantastic. And the engine's staying nice and cool. The temp gauge here is bullshit, but water temperature is about 130 after it's been cooled off when it goes to the return side. So I figured it's probably running at 180, maybe 150, 160. It actually runs pretty cool. So I don't understand the whole steamy blow-by thing. I know it's something, it's got to be the heads are probably cracked, or I want to say cracked for good. Look at those people. Isn't that illegal? You're on camera. I'll put my blinker on. So, anyways. Yeah, that's right. I got my camera. Why am I not getting a green light? There's nobody moving. Damn flies, get out of here. All the bugs are trying to migrate to my cars. I had 2 spiders. 2 tiny little spiders in my car, and that scared the shit out of me. I don't know what it is. Little spiders, it still scare the shit out of you. Put my headlights on, hardly puts a load on the engine. Now if I put the fan on, it does a little bit. But I bumped my idle up a little bit, so it probably idles at like 900 RPMs or something. I don't know. I disconnected my tach because I haven't established a key on power connection. So why didn't you just go later or earlier? So what will happen is the tach will stay running, and then it will drain my battery, and I think that was part of the reason why I had to buy new batteries, because it just drained it. But the battery was done, and I was not going to bother charging it. I was like, no, I'm buying a new battery. So I got a Duralast. Now I have the receipt. It's in my glove box, so if it goes out in a couple of years or so, I'll just warranty it out. Hopefully it lasts more than 2 years. I'd like to have a battery that lasts about 4 to 5. Oh yeah, I can tell this thing is happy with some fresh oil. Up to level and fresh. I've been kind of teaching myself how to tune a carburetor, and that's why I do all this switcheroo bullshit, like changing jets out and having it causing issues with my carburetor. Yeah, so I'm teaching myself how to tune a carburetor because it's something I would like to know. But I don't want to change it because it's running really good right now. It's been running absolutely fantastic. I haven't had any issues with it. It's been really reliable. But I would like to dejet it so that it will get better gas mileage, because right now it gets probably 10 or 11, maybe 15 on the highway. I don't know what it gets on the highway. I haven't gone to any road trips on the highway with it yet. I got a full tank right now. I put 11 gallons in and I paid $36 for a full tank of gas. I was down to a quarter tank and I went right to the full mark, so I'm happy. Full tank of gas for 36 bucks is, you know, if I could get it, you know, to be efficient like my car, that'd be sweet. And the only way to do that is put that diesel in, which it's gonna be a bitch. But I figured, I know I'm switching topics randomly, that kind of thing runs in my family, but now that I got myself on the topic, I'm not gonna pull this thing apart while I'm getting parts for, you know, like if I have the engine and tranny, I'm not gonna take it apart yet. I'm kind of thinking that I might want to go through the engine, maybe rebuild it a little bit, put a new head gasket on it, new bearings. I mean, it's going to cost a little bit more, but the long-term result will be a lot better. So I don't know if I want to rebuild it. If I find one that's got 92,000 miles on it, somewhere in that range, 100,000, I'm not even going to bother. I just put, you know, crankshaft seals, you know, or main seals, and then valve cover gaskets, the side cover gasket, the killer dowel pin mod thing, and a water pump, and yeah, you know, it'll be fine. That's my plan. Have it all ready, and then, you know, once everything's together, the transmission's mounted and the clutch and everything fits, yeah, we're fucking gonna yank this motor out. It's running a lot smoother. You know, I don't really notice a difference with Royal Purple or regular oil. It's just, you'd have to hook it up to a computer or run it on a dyno to see if there was a difference. My Explorer was the same way. You didn't tell a difference. I mean, it's almost kind of pointless, I think. I like driving this thing around though. It's nice. It's just old, and it's big, it's tough, and there are things about it that I like. I like the fact that my brakes work really nice, considering it has crappy Duralast brake pads, and it has the original brake rotors and drums. They are the originals. They are 31, 32 years old now. And they work fine now after I did all the work on the rear brakes and got the new shoes in and rebuilt the cylinders, and my front calipers are brand new. I got new pads. Got new wheel bearings. I have the original races in there, which were almost mint condition, but put new bearings in and repacked the grease and snugged them down. I did the old man wheel bearing trick where you spin it a little bit, it spins a certain amount, and you got that certain amount of preload, and then you're all set. Person to the right has the right of way. Please fucking go. So, you know, the truck's happy. It's got brand new shocks. I've got a temporary spring lift so that my steering wheel's straight. It's got new tires. My truck has more tread on its tires than my car does, so that's kind of why I want to drive this in the winter. wheels will actually have some damn grip. This thing's just putting along. I don't know, this truck doesn't feel as old as it is. The engine has blow-by that an Expedition would have, and it runs cool like my cousin Adam's car, or like his Mitsubishi Colt. And his car doesn't even need its fans. That's the funny thing. And you know, yeah, the gas mileage sucks pretty bad, but you know, whatever. It's a big truck. It's a big truck with an old engine that has a carburetor on it and is tuned to full power. Let's see. Not home, probably at his fiance's place. I like it's got front and rear sway bars now. Handle's great for a big truck that's got like a foot of ground clearance. Or yeah, if you count the axles, it's probably not a foot. There's a lot of room to work on it. You can do I can do transmission service on this thing without having to lift it up. You know, my Mazda, I've got to lift it up, and I got to remove panels. This thing, I just get under here and start working on the tranny. And I don't feel claustrophobic working on it. My Explorer, I hated doing transmission stuff with it. It was too enclosed, and it wasn't high up like this thing. I looked at doing the transmission on this. It looks like a 10-minute job. I mean, it's pretty simple as long as the bolts come out. As long as the bolts come out. And that's an acceleration from third gear, by the way. It'd probably get better gas mileage if it didn't do that. And there are a lot of people with headlights out. And not just Chevys, surprisingly. Mostly Subarus. Yeah, steering wheel is I'm going straight down the road and the steering wheel's straight. Probably would be even straighter if it had like another half an inch or so. Extension of the spring. So that's just kind of a random vlog for the day. Like I said, we're going to start locating miscellaneous parts to adapt a manual transmission to this thing. I'm going to get the pan that the shifter sticks through for this, and I'm going to take measurements and write down where that pan would sit in a cab like this, and then those will be our baseline measurements for this. And I don't know if the transmission needs to come back or forward 3 or whatever inches, so I will figure it out once we actually are ready to start putting the engine and tranny in. And I'll probably invest in some more organization stuff so that all the stuff I take off of here will be kind of put back in order and whatnot. Go ahead and park this right back in the driveway. Yeah, my lights aren't flickering. I love it. They only flicker a little bit, or dim really quick and then come back to normal if you hit the brakes or if you flip on anything electrical. So it has some weird, it's probably needs some ground wiring and whatnot done. So I don't know. I'm tired. I think I might hit the hay here in a bit after I edit this video. Catch you next time.